I am Vidya Obrepanwar, lecturer in E&C Department of SJP and Trust Polytechnic, Nirsoshi. In this video, I am going to discuss about the important questions of industrial automation unit number 3, that is choppers, inverters and cycloconverters. This unit is for 10 hours duration and it carries 30 marks. 2 questions for A section, that is 5 marks, and 2 section for B section, that is for 10 marks. In this chapter, we are going to study about the choppers, inverters and cycloconverters. Generally, we will have 10 marks question for choppers, 10 marks question for inverters and 10 marks question for cycloconverters. So, we are going to study about choppers, classification of choppers, then inverters, then different types of inverters and cycloconverters. So, let us start with the discussion of important questions related with unit number 3, which is for 10 hours duration and it carries 30 marks. So, we know that the power electronic circuits are classified into broad categories depending upon the input, output and the operation they perform. Such power electronic circuits are as follows, or they can be classified as rectifiers, that is AC to DC converters, inverters, that is DC to AC converters, cycloconverters, that is AC to AC converters, and choppers, those are DC to DC converters. Because these converters are very important, as we know that in our day to day life one form of power should be converted into another form. So, to control different processes in home or in the industry, we require the on off control, which is done by the power semiconductor devices. So, one by one we will discuss about choppers, then inverters and then cycloconverters. What are choppers? So, a chopper is basically a DC to DC converter whose main function is to create adjustable DC voltage from fixed DC voltage source through the use of semiconductors. So, fixed DC is converted into variable DC by the use of power semiconductor devices. Such circuits we define it as choppers. So, choppers are DC to DC converters. Now, let us understand about the basic principle of chopper, how the chopper works. The most fundamental control of a machine or a process is the on-off control. This scheme of control has two states, that is the on state and the off state. A device is said to be in its on state when power is applied. When power is removed, then the device is said to be in its off state. The duration for which the device remains in on and off states are called as T on and T off respectively. So, chopper is a device which converts fixed DC to variable DC and also known as DC voltage controller or DC to DC converter. We can consider this chopper as the DC equivalent of an AC transformer. So, how AC transformer converts AC to AC? So, here the source, main source 230 volts 50 hertz supply is step up or step down by the transformer. In the same way, the chopper will convert step up voltage or we will get step down voltage from the DC supply. Now, let us understand how the circuit works. So, this circuit where one single switch by using thyristor is shown. So, it will explain basic principle of chopper. So here supply is DC, then one switch, that is the thyristor we are using. So this thyristor can be replaced by BJT, MOSFET or IGBT. So any switching device, power semiconductor device, can be used as a chopper. Then a load is present here. Now how this circuit works we will understand. The chopper controls the power flow in a circuit by varying T on and T off time. So when the thyristor T1 is conducting, voltage is applied to the load. When it is not conducting, the voltage applied to the load is 0. This is shown in the waveform. So we get two states, that is T on and T off. So T on is when the output voltage is equal to supply voltage, and T off when the output voltage is equal to 0. So thus when the thyristor is not conducting, the applied voltage to the load is 0. So T on and T off are the periods of conduction and blocking. So after this we will derive the equation for the output voltage in terms of the input voltage. So we know that T on and T off are the periods of conduction and blocking. The average output voltage depends upon the duty cycle and given by V average is equal to V. V is the supply voltage. T on divided by T on plus T off. That will be equal to V T on divided by T is equal to alpha V. Now where V is applied voltage, V average is the average value of output voltage. T on is duration of conduction, T off duration of blocking, and we know the time period of the wave is T and it will be equal to sum of T on plus T off. We know that the ratio of T on time divided by T is nothing but duty cycle, which is indicated by alpha. Now the switching frequency of the device is nothing but it is reciprocal of the time period, which is F equal to 1 by T. So thus after observing the equation we can conclude that the output voltage depends upon the supply, but supply is constant voltage, means the output voltage will depend upon the T on and the time period T. Now next we are going to study about the chopper control schemes. So from the equation we know that the average voltage is equal to alpha into V. So depending upon this equation there are three types of control scheme, or what we can call it a control methods in case of chopper. So how the output voltage is controlled by using the input voltage and its relationship. So the three methods are there, that is constant frequency control, variable frequency control and current limit control. So first let us understand what is constant frequency control. So as the name indicates, in this method we can see the waveform. So in constant frequency control method we can see that the T on time is varied, whereas T, that is time period, is maintained constant. The on time period T on and the off time period are varied to vary the duty cycle. So in constant frequency control method duty cycle will change, but the time period is maintained constant. The advantage of this method or scheme is that the filter components are easily designed. So after observing the waveform we can say that constant frequency control is achieved by maintaining the time period constant. The second control method of output voltage is variable frequency control. So, as the name indicates, in this scheme, the chopper frequency is not constant. The frequency is varied. Hence, the duty cycle is also varied. So, you can say that frequency is varied, then T is changed, means we have to keep some parameter constant. So, T on time is maintained constant. So, in this scheme, if T on is varied, T off will also be constant. If T off is varied, then T on will have to be constant. So, for such type of chopper, it is difficult to design the filter. So, that is the two different methods, constant frequency control and variable frequency control. So, in first case, design of filter is easy. In second case, to design the filter it is difficult. So, the third method or the third control scheme is there in case of chopper, and that is called as current limit control. So, in this type of scheme, the chopper on off is under the control of output current. So, when the output current is sensed and when the current exceeds the maximum limit, that is I naught max, the chopper is turned off. We can easily observe from the waveform. When the current is below the minimum limit, I naught minimum, the chopper is turned on. So, the concept is clearly seen or we can observe in the waveform. So, when I naught is minimum, the chopper goes in on state. When I naught reaches a maximum value, the chopper will go in off state. So, that is clearly indicated in the chopper waveforms. The next concept which is always asked is the classification of chopper. So, chopper is classified in one way depending upon the direction of current and voltage at the output. So, depending upon which quadrant the chopper is operated, the choppers are classified into 5 types, that is class A chopper, we call it as first quadrant chopper, then class B chopper, that is second quadrant chopper, class C chopper and class D chopper are 2 quadrant chopper, and class E is the 4 quadrant chopper. Depending upon the relationship between the output voltage and the input voltage, the choppers are again of 2 types, that is step down chopper and step up chopper. So, when the output voltage is less than the input voltage, then we call it as step down chopper. When the output voltage is greater than the input voltage, then that chopper we call it as step up chopper. So, depending upon the relationship between output and input, thus we have got 2 types of chopper. Those are step up chopper and step down chopper. Now, let us understand how the step down chopper works and how the step up chopper works. So, here also we get important question, explain how the step up chopper works or how the step down chopper works. Principles are asked. So, first let us understand how the step down chopper is going to work. So, circuit diagram we can see in the figure. So, the basic chopper is the step down chopper. So, here chopper or thyristor T is connected with the supply, then it is connected to the load and a freewheeling diode is present. So, whenever we analyze the chopper, that time 2 states we have to consider, that is when the chopper is on and when the chopper is off. So, in this circuit we can observe that when thyristor is in on state. Now here we have to keep one thing in mind, that the thyristor will always be forward bias due to DC supply. So we require forced commutation circuits to make the thyristor go in off state. So here two states we consider, when thyristor is on and when thyristor is off. So first we consider that when thyristor is on. So when thyristor is on, that time load will be connected with the source, current will flow through the load, and output voltage will be equal to the supply voltage. So as the load is inductive, it will start storing the energy, and after that, when the thyristor is in off state, this will develop a back EMF across the inductor. As a result, during the off time of thyristor T, the freewheeling diode will start conducting and the output will become equal to 0, and that will be the off time of the thyristor. So when the average voltage is found out, that time we observe that the output voltage is less than the input voltage. Now let us discuss about the second type of the chopper, that is the step up chopper. So in case of step up chopper, the output voltage will be greater than the input voltage. So let us see with the circuit diagram. So here we observe that the switch or the chopper, that is thyristor T, is connected in parallel mode. Now again we will consider two states, that is when the switch is in on condition and when the switch is in off condition. Now choppers we can call it as a switches, on off switches. So when thyristor T1 is on and when the thyristor is in off state. Definition of step up chopper we have already understood. So these are the choppers in which the load voltage V0 is higher than the input voltage. So let us understand the working. When the thyristor T1 is on, the inductor is connected to the supply Vs and energy is stored in it, in the inductor. We know that inductor and capacitor are energy storing device. And when the thyristor is in off state, the inductor current is forced to flow through the diode and the load. Thus the induced voltage across the inductor VL gets added to the source voltage Vs to force the inductor current into the load. So thus the energy stored in the inductor is released to the load. So the output voltage will now become equal to V0 equal to Vs plus VL, that is supply voltage plus voltage across the inductor. So the chopper produces output voltage more than the input, and hence the name step up chopper. So the step up chopper works. Next we know that there are different types of chopper based on the quadrant operation, in which quadrant it operates, first, second, fourth or two quadrants. So first we will understand the working of first quadrant chopper, which is also called as class A chopper. So circuit diagram we can see here. Supply is DC, thyristor is connected, diode is there, and a regenerative load is present. So when we observe the quadrant of operation, we see that the output voltage and output current are both are positive. So it is first quadrant operation. In this plot graph, when we plot between the output current and output voltage. X axis output current, y axis output voltage. So let us understand the working. So figure we have already seen. We have seen the quadrant operation of type A chopper. So we know that it operates in quadrant 1. It operates by periodic opening and closing of thyristor T1, which conducts only in the direction shown by the arrow. Similarly, the current through diode D1 flows upward only as shown by the arrow. Thus, it is clear that output current IA can only be positive. Similarly, diode D1 limits the output voltage V0 to be positive. The region of operation in VA-IA plane is in the first quadrant. The maximum instantaneous voltage is limited to V when T1 is closed. The maximum output current IA is determined by the ratings of the switches and diodes. The power flow in this chopper is from input voltage source V to the load connected at the output. It is also called as the step down chopper, basic chopper, as the average value of output voltage is always lower than the input voltage V and the current flows from source to load. We know that always the current will flow in the direction of the arrow of the SCR. So, when SCR is in on state, current will flow from source to load, and when SCR is in off state, that time also through the freewheeling diode the current is going to flow towards the load only. So, current will be always positive. So, in this way we can describe the working of class E chopper. Now, let us go with the next chopper. So, we will generally have the question, explain second quadrant chopper. So, we can see the second quadrant chopper where the supply is connected to diode, then there is a switch, we are using thyristor T as a switch, then regenerative load, and when we observe the quadrant operation, we see that the voltage and current are in second quadrant, means voltage will be positive and current will be negative. So, when current is negative, it indicates that current will flow from load to source. As the diode, when we see the diode in the circuit diagram, it indicates that no current will flow from source towards the load. Let us understand how the circuit works. So, it is a type B chopper. It operates in the second quadrant. In this chopper, the current I is restricted to negative value by the thyristor T2 and diode D2. However, the voltage V0 is restricted to be positive. A negative value of VA will render both T2 and T2 to be open. The region of operation of the chopper is in VA minus IA plane as shown in the diagram. This is also called as step up chopper, as the power can be transferred only from output voltage to V. The reverse power flow, that is from load to source, can take place only if the load is active load or capable of providing continuous power output. So, regenerative type of load is used. So, a common example of reverse power flow is the regenerative braking in DC drive. The DC motor in this case acts as a generator. So, for short duration, and the kinetic energy is returned to the input DC source. So, other application are transfer of energy stored in the inductor and stepping up battery voltages to higher value. So, in this case current will be negative and the output voltage will be positive. In the different types of chopper, we are showing the load is a regenerative load. So, it is possible for the current to flow from load to source. So, this was regarding with the class B type of chopper, that is the second quadrant chopper. Now, let us understand with the Next type of chopper which is also asked. Sometimes two choppers at a time are asked, or sometimes a single chopper will be asked. So class C type of chopper is a two quadrant chopper which operates in the first and second quadrant of the current voltage plane. So here we see that two thyristor T1 and T2 are. Now one more thing I want to tell you, that instead of SCRs we can use BJTs or other power semiconductor switches. So here T1, T2, D1, D2, that is two SCRs and two diodes are used. Class C chopper is a combination of class A chopper and class B chopper. Now both the thyristors or both the diodes cannot be on at the same time, because it will cause short circuiting of the source. So either T1 will be on or T2 will be on, D1 will be on or D2 will be on. And let us understand the working of this class C chopper very easily. Now if T1 or D2 is on and T2 is off, the output voltage will be equal to V. Okay, so supply will be connected to the load. If T2 or D1 is on, output voltage will be equal to 0, because supply will not be connected to the load. So due to the conduction of this T2 or D1, it will be short circuited, so the output voltage will be equal to 0. Next, when we observe the direction of current, when T1 or D1 is on, current will be positive. Current will flow from source to load. And when T2 or D2 is on, that time the current will be negative, which we can see it very clearly. The direction of current we can indicate as the direction of the SCR or the diode. So current will be either positive or it will be negative, but the voltage will be always positive. Thus class C chopper operates in the first and second quadrant of its characteristics. Now the fourth type of chopper which we are going to study is the type D chopper. So this is also one of the simple form of chopper, and we see the VI characteristics as the chopper is operating in the first and the fourth quadrant. So this indicates that the output current is positive and the output voltage is either positive or it can be negative. Now here in this chopper we observe that there are two thyristors and there are two diodes. Now here the direction of thyristors and diodes are opposite with each other. First we consider that thyristor T1 and T2 are fired. So output voltage V0 will be equal to V when T1 and T2 are on. Just we can see that when T1 and T2 are on, that time the output voltage will be equal to supply voltage. When T1 and T2 are off, the polarity is going to change. So when that time D1 and D2 will be on, and what we observe is that the output voltage is negative. Output voltage is negative, and when we observe the flow of current, that time always the current is going to flow as shown in the arrow mark, whether it is due to T1 and T2 on state or whether it is due to D1 and D2 in the on state. The direction arrow mark is shown in the circuit, which indicates the direction of current. So voltage can be positive or negative, but the current will be always positive. So this is the type D chopper, what we call it as a D chopper. So this was the explanation. Next we will go with the class E, or it is the 4 quadrant chopper. So the question will be asked as explain 4 quadrant chopper. So when we observe the 4 quadrant chopper, we can see that there are 4 SCRs, 4 diodes, and the quadrant operation we can see that current can be positive, voltage can be positive, current can be positive, voltage can be negative, current can be negative, voltage can be negative, and so on. Means this chopper will operate in all the 4 quadrants of the VI characteristic. So let us see or observe the working of class E type of chopper or 4 quadrant chopper. So we can summarize how this chopper is going to work. Now when T1 and T4 are on, T2 and T3 are off. One more thing here, the series connected thyristors or diodes will not be simultaneously on because it will short circuit the supply. So we have to consider which thyristors are to be fired and which thyristors should be commutated. So when T1 and T4 are on and T2 and T3 are off, output voltage is equal to V. Output voltage will be equal to minus V if T1 and T4 are off and T2 and T3 are on. So the directions of voltages and currents is shown in the diagram. So we have to consider the conditions. The output current positive if T1 and T4 or D2 and D1 are on. So when T1, T4 and D2 and D3 are on, that time the value of output current is positive. The output current will be negative. The direction of flow of current is going to change, and the arrow marks of the thyristors or diode indicates the direction of current. So output current, that is IA, will be negative if T2 and T3 or D1 and D4 are on. So VA is positive or negative, IA is positive or negative. Thus a 4 quadrant chopper configuration is used for both motoring and regenerative braking. Thus the class E or 4 quadrant chopper works. Now let us understand the applications of chopper. So here the choppers will be used in different applications. So choppers are used in following application. So this question is asked as list the applications of chopper. So first application of chopper is DC motor drives when DC supply is available, battery operated vehicles, switched mode power supplies, battery chargers where uncontrolled rectifiers give DC to choppers, traction drives use 4 quadrant choppers for energy saving, lighting and lamp controls also use choppers. So these are the different applications of the choppers. So for 5 marks we have to list it out. Then the next topic which we are going to discuss is about the inverters. So choppers we have understood. Now let us go with the inverters. We will understand what are inverters, the working or basic principle of inverter, then different types of inverters and the application. So we will define what are inverters. So inverter is a circuit which converts DC power into AC power. So DC to AC converters we call it as inverters. So at the desired voltage and frequency. In most of the inverters, both these quantities are required to be controlled. We require power also to be controlled and frequency also to be controlled. All oscillators constitute one category of inverters, because oscillators we define the circuits which converts DC voltage into AC. The basic difference is that oscillators generate small AC power at high frequencies, whereas inverters produce large amount of AC power at low frequencies. Now the basic difference between oscillator and inverters is that the inverters generate large amount of power at lower frequencies and oscillators generates small amount of power at higher frequencies. So we cannot use oscillators as inverters. So many times the question is asked, explain the basic principle used for inverters. So how the inverter works, that we have to explain. So we will draw basic circuit and afterwards we can see the output waveform. So inverter is a circuit which converts DC power into AC power at the desired voltage and frequency. First we define it. In most of the inverters, both these quantities are required to be controlled. In one sense, all oscillators constitute one category of inverters. The basic difference in the oscillators and the inverters is that oscillators generate small AC power at high frequencies, whereas inverters produce large amount of powers at low frequency. Now after observing the circuit diagram, we can understand how the circuit is going to work. So if switch S is connected alternately to position 1 and 2 at a rapid speed, then an alternating voltage will appear across the primary winding even though the supply voltage is DC. This can be explained by the direction of current flow in the primary winding. When S is connected to position 1, the direction of flow of current is from top to bottom. When S is connected to position 2, the current flows from bottom to top. Arrow we have shown in the circuit diagram. The frequency of the alternating voltage will depend on the how rapidly the switch positions are interchanged. So as shown in the figure, an alternating EMF is induced in the secondary winding which is connected to the load. So transistors and thyristors are used as switching elements. So any switching elements can be used to replace the switch S. So this was the working of inverters, and the inverters are used in induction motor, speed control of induction motor, UPS, that is uninterrupted power supplies, standby power supplies, induction heating. These are some of the applications of the inverters. So next we will go with the classification of inverters. So inverters are classified by using different ways. They can be classified based on commutation method, based upon the connection of load with the supply. So depending on the type of source, there are two types of inverters, that is voltage source inverter and the current source inverter. So voltage source inverter is fed from a constant DC voltage source of negligible impedance, and the current source inverter is fed from a constant DC current source of high impedance. Then second way is depending on the type of output, the inverters are classified as single phase inverter or three phase inverter. So the output consists of two wires and one waveform, that is single phase. If the output consists of three wires and three waveforms, then we call it as three phase inverters, where the wires are 120 degree out of phase with each other. The third way to classify the inverters are depending on the commutating components. So commutating components are the components which are used to make the thyristors go in off state. So there are two types of inverters, that is series inverter and the parallel inverter. So if the commutating components are connected in series with the load, then we call it as series inverters, and if they are connected in parallel with the load, then we call those as parallel inverters. So depending upon the voltage supply, the inverters are classified as single phase, half voltage source inverter or full voltage source inverter. So we are going to discuss about the next important questions that explain the working of half bridge inverter or voltage source inverter and full bridge voltage source inverter. This is the important questions which is asked for 5 marks repeatedly. Very repeatedly 5 marks question is asked on explanation of half bridge voltage source inverter and full bridge voltage source inverter. So first we will understand the working of single phase half bridge voltage source inverter. The questions are asked: sketch and explain the working principle of half bridge inverter. Sometimes they will ask only to sketch, sometimes they will ask both. So 5 marks question. Circuit diagram and waveform we have to draw. So this is the circuit diagram, and we see that the supply is DC, which is divided into two, that is V1 by 2 and V1 by 2. So let us understand how the circuit works. So here we see two SCRs are used and two diodes are used. Use of diode is optional, even if we don't use diodes, okay. Now this SCRs can be replaced by the BJTs also, no problem. Any power semiconductor switch can be used. So for a time when the SCR T1 is fired, after applying triggering pulse only the SCR is going to conduct, even if the SCRs are forward biased, unless and until those are fired, it will not go in conduction. So when T1 is fired for time duration T by 2, the supply will be connected to the load and the direction of voltage is shown in the diagram. So here current will flow from the supply, direction of current is there in the upper half part, then T1, then load and the negative of the power. T2 is not conducting, so we get the output voltage as positive voltage whose value is equal to V1 by 2. The supply is divided as V1 by 2 and V1 by 2. Now T1 is commutated and T2 is fired. So when T2 is conducting, now the current will flow from positive of the supply, load, then T2 and to the negative. So the direction of current is going to change, thus the output voltage will be now negative. So first when T1 is conducting, output voltage is positive. When T2 is conducting, output voltage is negative. Thus we get both the voltages, positive and negative. In this way DC is converted into AC. But The main disadvantage of this circuit is that we require a 3-wire supply. We require a 3-wire supply, which is difficult to get. So the next type of full bridge inverter is used. So the next type we will study. So we get the question. Sketch and explain the working principle of full bridge inverter. So here we have to write the explanation and we will go with the circuit diagram. Now here the supply, when we observe the circuit diagram, this is the explanation you can use for the reference. Let us understand the working of the circuit. So when we observe the circuit diagram, we see that the supply is connected to the inverter circuit. It is not divided in any two parts, so we call it as a full bridge voltage source inverter. So the drawback whichever we was having for the half bridge inverter is overcome in this inverter. So now when T1 and T2 is conducting, here the thyristor which are connected in parallel with the supply will not be made on at the same time, because it will short circuit the source. So here we have to consider how we consider for the chopper, the conduction of thyristor takes place. So waveform also we will observe and we will check with the working of the circuit. So drawback is overcome. So in this inverter, number of thyristor and diodes are twice that of the half bridge inverter. So when T1 and T2 conducts, load voltage is Vs, and when T3 and T4 conducts, load voltage is minus Vs. So as shown in the figure, the how we fire the SCRs, we will get the output voltage as positive and negative. Thus the DC voltage Vs is converted either as positive Vs or negative Vs. In this way the single phase full bridge voltage source inverter works. So when we explain this type of circuits, it is compulsory that we should explain the waveforms also. So we have to draw the waveform and the circuit diagram. So this was the explanation. We have to write it along with the waveforms. Now the next question which is asked, and it is very important, so that is about the series inverter. So the question repeatedly asked for 10 marks is that explain basic series inverter. So we have to draw the diagram and the waveform. So circuit diagram of series inverter and the output wave is shown in the figure. Now here we know the definition of series inverter. When the commutating components, that is L and C, are connected in series with the load, we call it as a series inverter. We know that the supply is DC, so we require commutation, that is the force commutation is used in case of inverters. So waveform we are observing. Let us understand the working of the series inverter. The working of the series inverter we can divide into two ways, that when T1 is on and when T2 is on. So let us go with the operation of the simple series inverter. The load resistance R is in series with the commutating components L and C, so that it forms a underdamped oscillator circuit. There is natural tendency for the load current to become equal to 0, because we know that the inductor has got the property that the current will keep on increasing, it will reach maximum then again the current through the inductor goes on decreasing, and at a particular time current through inductor will become equal to 0. So there is a natural tendency for the load current to become equal to 0 because of the connection of the load in series with the inductor. The SCR is commutated as it is in series with the load. Since the SCRs turn off by themselves when the current becomes 0, this inverter is also called as self-commutated inverter. When T1 is turned on, capacitor C gets charged with the polarity shown in the figure. The waveform for current IL will be seen in the figure. Now at point 1 of the waveform, the load current IL is 0 and T1 is turned off. Duration 1 to 2 is the off period when the load is open circuited and the load current is 0. Capacitor retains the voltage V as there is no discharge path. So at point 2, T2 is fired and the capacitor discharge current flow in the opposite direction through the load. So at point 3, T2 is turned off since the capacitor discharges completely and current becomes equal to 0. Thus, when T1 is conducting, current will be positive, and when T2 is conducting, current will be negative. In this way, we get the AC current, and this is the explanation of the working of the basic series inverter. So we have divided the waveform at different instants, that is 0 to 1 and 2 to 3. Next question, which is always repeatedly asked, is about the differences between VSI and CSI. So the question is repeatedly asked, differentiate between VSI and CSI. As we know that VSI is voltage source inverter and CSI is current source inverter. First we will go with the definitions, then we will go with the differences. So voltage source inverter is fed from a constant DC voltage source which has negligible impedance. The input voltage in VSI remains constant and current depends on load. Once again I am repeating, the input voltage in VSI remains constant and current depends on the load. Current source inverter, we call it as CSI, is fed from a constant DC current source of high impedance provided by an inductor. So in CSI, that is the current source inverter, current is fed, the input current remains constant and the output voltage depends on the load. So two things we have to keep in mind, that VSI, in case of VSI, input voltage in VSI remains constant, current depends on load. In CSI, output voltage depends on load and the input current remains constant. So we will state out or list out the differences between voltage source inverter and the current source inverter. So in case of voltage source inverter, input voltage is constant, but in case of CSI, input current is constant. VSI, short circuit can damage the circuit. In case of CSI, short circuit cannot damage the circuit. VSI, the point is peak current of power device depends on load, but in case of CSI, peak current of power device is limited. Then here current waveform depends on load, and in case of CSI, voltage waveform depends on load. Then in case of VSI, freewheeling diodes are required in case of inductive load. In case of CSI, freewheeling diodes are not required. The next point is inductance is not needed for impedance to implement constant voltage source. But in case of constant current source, it needs large inductance to maintain or implement constant current source. Then the dynamic response of VSI is fast. In case of CSI, the current is limited, the dynamic response of CSI is slow. In case of VSI, voltage spikes are not produced when devices are switched. Filters are not required to support these spikes. In case of VSI, voltage spikes are produced when devices are switched. Filters are not required in these spikes. So here the question is for 5 marks. So at least nearly 6 points we have to write with regarding the differences between the VSI and the CSI. Next very important question which is frequently asked is about the variable DC link inverter. So we have to explain what is variable DC link inverter and why we use this variable DC link inverter. The question is asked repeatedly, and this question is a compulsory question in nearly all the question papers which is asked for 10 marks. So first we have to define what is variable DC link inverter, what is the principle, then we are going to see the circuit advantages and disadvantage. So the basic principle we can see that first the constant DC is converted to variable DC by using DC chopper. Then this variable DC voltage is converted to variable AC voltage by using the inverter. So here two-step conversion takes place. We call it as a DC link inverter because the DC voltage is converted into AC by using a DC chopper. Now let us understand the working. So we know that output voltage control can be obtained by varying the width of the pulses of the devices. So whatever devices we are using, width of those pulses, if it is changed, then the output voltage is varied. This varies the duty cycle of the output waveform, and hence the RMS value changes. But harmonic content of the signal also changes if pulse width is varied. One method to change the output of inverter is pulse width modulation, but in this type of method harmonics are generated. So the problem can be overcome with the help of variable DC link inverter. So the basic principle of variable DC link inverter is that instead of varying the pulses of the inverter, an input DC voltage is varied. So this varies an amplitude of the output voltage. Therefore, RMS value of output voltage is also varied. So without causing the distortion, which is the problem in the pulse width modulation techniques, can be overcome by using the DC link inverter. So this is the circuit diagram of variable DC link inverter. So first DC supply is there, Vs, which is given to the DC chopper. Here transistor is used as a chopper whose on off timing is controlled by using the chopper control. So after that a filter is used. If any ripple is there, then a variable DC voltage is available at the output of this chopper, which is given to the full bridge inverter circuit. So diagram is shown here, that is DC link inverter. So voltage is given to the chopper as I told. So The distortion which is caused due to the harmonics is overcome by using this type of inverter. So sometimes they will ask the question as list out the advantages and disadvantages. So we can list out what are the advantages and disadvantages. So working we have understood. We will first go with the advantages and the disadvantages. That is, advantages are harmonic content does not change with output voltage. Control circuit of inverter is simple. Disadvantage is that additional chopper is required. Efficiency of the circuit is reduced. Transistors have to handle variable input voltages. Now let us go with the next topic is that is of the cycloconverters. That is of the cycloconverters. Now the question is compulsory in case of cycloconverter. A repeated question of 10 marks is always asked about the cycloconverters. We get the question as explain the working of single phase midpoint cycloconverter. 10 marks repeatedly asked question. Each question paper will have this question, so please don't neglect this. It is a simple question, and only in case of cycloconverters we will have 2 to 3 points. Circuit diagram, its working. So when we draw the circuit diagram, we have to explain the waveform, and then advantages and disadvantages are also asked. In some of the question papers they will be asking with the applications of cycloconverters. So let us understand what are cycloconverters. We will define it, then we will go with the working. So the diagram of cycloconverter is shown in the figure. So the cycloconverters are called as cycle converters. It converts one form of AC signal into another form of AC. The frequency of the input signal will be changed. The input and output both are AC. Hence, the cycle converters converts AC power of certain frequency to AC power of much lower frequency without the help of any intermediate DC link. The basic block diagram is shown in the figure. So here AC signal is converted into AC. So the definition in single line we can write it as AC to AC converters are called as cycloconverters. Next we will go with the classification of cycloconverter. So there are different types of or different ways to classify the cycloconverters depending upon the relationship of the frequency at the input and the output. So the cycloconverters is an AC to AC converter. The input is normally a single phase or a three phase from the mains of the fixed voltage and fixed frequency. The output is of variable voltage and of variable frequency. The output frequency is always lower than the input frequency, or sometimes the output frequency will be less than the input frequency. So cycloconverters are of two types. They are single phase cycloconverters or three phase cycloconverters. Depending upon the type of construction, these are midpoint configuration or these are bridge configuration. One more thing, depending upon the construction, this can be center tapped or midpoint, or this can be bridge type. So thus we have got a wide variety or different types of cycloconverters. But in our syllabus we are going to study about the single phase to single phase midpoint cycloconverter. Students, here once again I am repeating that this question is asked compulsory in all the question paper. So let us go with the diagram of single phase to single phase midpoint cycloconverter. So here when we observe the diagram, we get that a transformer is present, then here 4 SCRs are present. 2 SCRs will conduct during positive half cycles and 2 SCRs will conduct during the negative half cycle of the supply. So observe the circuit diagram easily, and here we have to draw the waveforms so that working of the cycloconverter can be easily understood. Now we have to consider what happens at point A and point B. So let us understand the working. The figure shows the circuit diagram of single phase to single phase cycloconverter of midpoint configuration. Construction is midpoint. We are connecting load to the center tap. It consists of 4 SCRs, that is TP1 and TP2, which produces positive half cycles of the output voltage, and TN1 and TN2 produces the negative half cycle of the output voltage. Depending upon the polarity at A and B with respect to C, any two among the 4 SCRs will conduct. So during the combined positive half cycle, TP1 and TP2 will be operated. If point A is positive with respect to C, then point B will be negative with respect to C. Hence, TP1 is on and TP2 is off. Current I0 will flow through A0 TP1, limiting resistor I0, the load and center tap C. If point A is negative with respect to C, then point B will be positive. Hence, TP1 is off and TP2 is on. Current I0 will flow through B TP2, limiting reactor L, the load and center tap point C. The direction of flow current is same. Again, if point A is positive, point B will be negative. Then TP1 is on and TP2 is off. Current I0 flows through A0 TP1, limiting reactor L, the load and center tap C in the same direction as above. These 3 positive half cycles across the load produce a combined positive half cycle at the output. During the combined negative half cycle, TN1 and TN2 will be operated. The operation is similar to that of TP1 and TP2 for the 3 half cycles, but the only difference is the flow of current through the load is in opposite direction. Hence, the output current is negative and the output voltage is also negative. The operation is clearly shown in the waveforms. So, the waveform shows first wave indicates input waveform, second wave indicates the output waveform. So here the duration and the output cycles are shown. Thus AC is converted to AC. So in the source waveform the frequency is different, and in output waveform the frequency is reduced, time period is increased. In this way the cycloconverter works. Next, the question is asked sometimes, that is state or list the applications of cycloconverters. Then we can write it as Cycloconverters are widely used as power converters for the following applications: variable frequency supply for aircraft, adjustable speed induction motor drives, then the speed control of synchronous motors. So these are the different applications of the cycloconverter. So students, these were the important questions for the third chapter, that is the third unit of industrial automation, that is choppers, inverters and cycloconverters. Hope you understood the explanation. Thank you.